Hello again, and welcome everyone to Stille Nacht today with my fantastic helpers here, helping the victim of the Christmas flood move on into the next world, to move on and leave us all in peace, because that's what happens around Halloween, or in this case, around Christmas. We have wonderful role players with us today who are going to help us showcase Stille Nacht and all its power, all its emotional energy. Would you like to introduce yourselves, just who you are, who you're going to play today? I'll be telling a little bit more about the game in just a second. Let's start with Kat and go around.
Hi, I'm Kat, at Cleric of Court, and I am playing Elka Jensen, who is the village midwife and has been for many years. She's taken care of pretty much everybody in town and delivered a few of them.
And Heinrich Spencer.
Yeah, I am Spencer at SpencerDVA on Twitter, Discord, etc. And I will be playing Heinrich Stalknecht, who is the village stable hand and occasional hunter.
And underneath we have Trooper SJP Adi.
Hi, I'm Trooper SJP, and I will be playing Adi Strick. And Adi is a 17-year-old from the village, grew up here, and he is, or he still is, a rope maker and net maker. He makes fishing nets and ropes, but the village is not in the greatest space right now. So he also now does fishing, although he was not trained in fishing, but you make do when there has been cataclysm.
And of course, last but never least, Hanny. Who are you playing today?
Hey.
Nice to have you.
Hey, I'm Hanny at Hanny Claps. I'm playing Friedrich Schreiber. He is a school teacher.
And I'm Lydia. I'm half Arsed Hermit. I'm going to be the medium that is trying to facilitate the story and the passing of the spirit. But before we start, I'd like to say a couple of thank yous, because we've had a few donations coming in from Pope World Build, from Coruscant, and of course from Idolin. Thank you so much for helping us out with Take This. And of course, we also would like to say thank you to the people that help us get this channel on the road and keep it going. Our sponsors, which this season are quite intense and connected to every single game that we run. We have on Monday my 5e campaign, Song of the Deep, which thank you very much to Snowhaven, a snowpunk setting. We're exploring that. They're helping us get that to you guys. We're on Tuesday having two sponsors, with Achtung Cthulhu, Modifius, of course, putting this beautiful game together, 2D20 system. Fairly well-known setting, but the new system that we're showcasing. And we have a Zweihander starting in 2 weeks. Flames of Freedom, their Kickstarter, which smashed every expectation, and very much looking forward to playing in that one myself. Boston Besieged is the game we're going to play. We have on Wednesday, of course, iHunt, and Machine Age Production is essentially calling all of us out with a game that is about, rent being due, bills piling up, and you have to kind of make money in this economy. So why not monster hunting via the very, very handy app iHunt? Hashtag down with capitalism. We also on Thursday have Accent Punk, which is an absolutely gorgeous hip-hop cyberpunk infused game. I played a one-shot in that a couple of weeks back and I was having so much fun. Super collaborative. We have a killer cast making their own music, artwork. Really, really fantastic. And starting this week, premiering this week, we've got Defiant. A couple of angels, fallen angels, demons, succubi, leviathans, supernatural creatures, all vying for power. And that power play is going to be interesting to see as well. So that's who we have this season, but now let's focus on this particular game, on Stille Nacht, a supernatural murder mystery. Like I said, it is set in a historical background. It's the Christmas flood of 1717. It killed well over 10,000 people, actually, when it hit the coasts of Germany. Denmark, the Netherlands. It was quick and it was fast and it was almost silent. Because in those days, the dikes that were meant to protect the villages and settlements, they were, of course, much smaller, far less sturdy in comparison to what people build these days. And well, during the first half of December 24th, very rough winds swept across the North Sea and its regions, coastal regions. Picked up in the afternoon, got worse and worse, and when everything finally died down that very Christmas evening, people thought they were safe. The evening tide had only really been slightly higher than usual. Well, everyone went to bed. But shortly after midnight, a hurricane rose in the northwest, and as it began to bear down on the coast, well, it trapped the water of the evening tide, pushed it against the dike constructions higher and higher before the morning tide rolled in, and in the early hours of December 25th, the first dikes collapsed. Most people, of course, were still asleep at that point in their beds, never saw, never heard the water coming. And Petra has translated several sources for us that really paint a picture of what that destruction looked like. Here one caught sight of frozen mothers with their babies in their arms, spouses tied to each other with ropes. There on the trees, ghastly corpses hung. The survivors had saved their lives, but nothing more than that. Their spouses, their parents, their sons, daughters, brides, brothers, sisters, friends, and acquaintances were gone. Gone was their property, cash, cattle, supplies of peat, and all sorts of food. They stood there miserably like the shipwrecked. And our village, the village we set this story in, has also suffered great losses and damage during that flood 4 years ago. Much has been repaired. Victims have been mourned in these 4 years, and the people are ready to move on with their lives. They need to, for the sake of their own sanity, but they can't, because each year on Christmas, the spirits return. Laughing shadows with faces that were once familiar and loved, and are now distant and pained. Strange sounds and scents and accidents are reported throughout the village on every Christmas Eve, each year, every year, and there is so much despair on a night that should be joyful for all. There is a spirit that seems more persistent than the others, more present. Something draws her in, and she, with her, brings a wave, a tidal wave of specters, not dissimilar to the blood that took her life. They sweep in from the sea, from the dock, because if she cannot find peace, then the village is refused it as well. But why? What is it about this particular spirit of a woman that was once very familiar to all of you? What is it about her that she won't let the village rest in peace? Her name was Frida Bach. Once she was the schoolmistress, a headmistress, in fact. Now she lies buried on the hill where her schoolhouse stood before the storm took both the building and her life. And you, Adi, Elke, Heinrich, Friedrich, well, you were called to her house that now stands empty. Her husband and the children moved away. And a woman greets you by the door. She is very short, stocky. Her face is wrinkled. Her voice, however, is soft and young. Amulets dangle around her neck, lots of them, a whole lot of them. It's protection that she will need tonight. Her name is Roswitha, and she bids you to enter with the words, "Oh, it is so good to see that you want to help. I'm so glad that you came. How are you doing? Friedrich, is it, yes?"
It is, yes.
"Are you well?"
I'm doing well here. How are you doing?
Everything's prepared. We can start in a moment. Elke, We talked a little bit earlier. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yes, yes. I want my friend to find peace. I am ready for this.
And I appreciate it. Heinrich, thank you for your coming as well. I know it was a little bit last minute, but I appreciate that you would like to help her move on.
As any good person should.
Your words in God's ears, as they say. Adi, are you doing well? Are you keeping well? Lots of work?
Yes, ma'am.
It's all right.
Is this okay? Is this safe?
I'm afraid there are some risks involved. There are some dangers. But do come in. And she leads you inside to what was once most likely the dining room. There is still the large table, although all sorts of furniture has gone at this point. There are candles put all over the room, on the floor, on the table as well, and their light casts dancing shadows off the cobwebs onto wood panels. She has placed 5 chairs around this table, and in front of every chair, of every spot, there is a candle and a bowl with salt. I've been told that you 4 were the last to really speak with Frau Bach and really see her on the day, so that might be one of the reasons that she's latched on to you specifically. I hear you've been haunted by her quite intensely. Elke, how does that haunting, what does that look like? How is she manifesting every year for you?
She comes and sits on my bed, as we used to do when we were girls, and we would spend time together at the other's home. And she comes and she sits on my bed, and she takes my hand, and she rarely speaks, but it is unnerving feeling her touch and having her sit there and just stare at me, and I cannot sleep. And she's also going to reach out to Adi and take his hand and pat it. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
And Roswitha looks...
Adi's clearly sort of kind of freaked out by the whole situation, and also that, you know, ghosts might be coming tonight. Like, it's, if they come like every Christmas, then it's gonna, you know, it's possible this will all happen again. And so the whole situation is a little bit frightening. And so having Ilke pat his hand helps him calm down a little bit. But you can still tell that he's on edge and nervous. And he, of course, sits in the chair right next to Elke. But he lets her sit first before he seats himself.
And is it likewise for you? Does she come and sit with you during Christmas? Adi?
Me? Oh,
yeah.
No. She doesn't sit with me. Am I supposed to say what she does?
It would help, perhaps, to find out why she's here, why she's latching on to you in particular.
I look at Elke with sort of an embarrassment. She... it's like in school. She yells at me, and she hits me with a switch for not memorizing all of my lines and numbers and words, and for not writing well enough, and for not listening. Yeah. She always said I didn't
I'm
listen
sorry.
enough in class. So
I'm sorry, this must be rough. Let's hope we can stop your torment tonight. Friedrich, is it a similar haunting for you?
Slightly. It's like Addie seems she's upset with the quality work that I'm putting in for the children. I hear her screaming. I'm grading paper.
I see. Well, I'm starting to realize. Heinrich? You knew her well. Is this... Is she angry with you as well?
Sometimes I can't tell. At this point, he's sort of fiddling with a Star of David that's on a necklace around his neck. She's always in the corner of my eye, watching. And just when I think I have time to myself, she's there, just staring. She doesn't speak. She just watches.
Then let's begin. And Roswitha makes her way to the table and sits down and shows to you to sit down to take your places as well. She reaches out her hands for you to hold and says, tonight there is only one thing that we can do to free the spirit and, by extension, you from the suffering. Honesty. We will need her to remember what happened that night. We will need you to help her remember, and sometimes remembering is painful. Do not break this circle. Be honest. Help her move on. If you could, think of the first time you met Headmistress Frida. And she closes her eyes, and there's an energy in the room rising, a tension, an electricity almost. You feel it tingling in your legs, rising slowly through your whole body as you try and think back to the first time that you met Headmistress Frida and what you thought. In one word, Elke, when you think of Headmistress Frida, what do you think about? When you first met her, what was the one word that came and stayed with you in your mind?
Solemn. She was a very solemn, quiet little girl.
Heinrich, when you think of Frida... Sorry.
She didn't play boisterously the way some of the rest of us did.
Heinrich, what is that one word? What do you associate with her?
Tender. And she was a school teacher. She was kind to me in some capacity, even when I was failing in my studies. And later on, I like to think that she and I became friends. She was never rude to me. Was always kind.
And Friedrich, what word comes to your mind?
Friedrich looks around the room and stares at everybody else and is really starting to feel some unease because of the things that the others have said so far. And to show his honesty, he comes out and says, intimidating. She held this presence about her because I, unlike the rest, met her as a peer. And she had already had that overarching power to her where I knew that I wasn't going to be what she was. So Friedrich continues to look around and kind of puts his head down a little bit and looks at everybody else, with his eyes kind of turned down. And it's a bit of like shame that he's feeling because he did feel that she started to hurt him just at the first presence. Like he wasn't going to be able to handle their interactions from there forward.
And Adi nodding along to this. What's your word?
Headmaster, I think you do a good job teaching.
And Roswitha, her eyes now closed, everything about her calm and still. She retreats. And the further Roswitha leaves, her presence leaving this room, the more new presence enters. The tingling, the electricity starts to grow, the candles start to flicker. There's a strange breeze, not from outside because it's not a windy night. For once, it's a warm Christmas Eve out there. But that wind, it bites through your clothes, it bites through your soul, right to your core it goes, and it makes you shiver. The flames of the candles grow higher, and where Roswitha sat, there is now Frida. But it's not fully her, she's not fully corporeal. You can still see little parts of Roswitha's body shining through, and around her, engulfing her, the wafting spirit spectre of Frida Bach. As she looks around, as she looks at the hands she's holding, then looks at each and every one of your faces, questioning, wondering, very confused. That stern face of hers, that frown of hers that was almost persistent, everlasting, is now a frown of confusion. And she looks at Heinrich. What is my name?
Your name is Frida Bach.
Frida. Yes. I know you. I know this place. She looks at Elk and smiles ever so slightly. What did I do? Who was I here?
Oh, Frida, it's good to hear your voice. You were the head schoolmistress here. Don't you remember? You were a teacher.
A teacher.
And she squeezes Addie's hand as if one of your students is here.
Oh. I know your face. I know all of your faces. But I was gone. I have been gone. When? How old was I when I left your world? She looks at Adi still.
Headmistress Bach, old? like Frau Jensen, old. And Adi just looks at Elke. Grown up, you know. Um, looks for help, right?
She was 4. You were 40, dear. You were 40. It's okay. It's okay, Ade. You're trying not to be rude. I understand.
Oh,
She looks to Friedrich. Last one. 40. 40. I had more years. I was supposed to have more years. Where was I found?
Friedrich feels his heart sinks immediately. You were down by the dock, on the edge of town.
The dock. I remember. Some things. I need to remember it all. I cannot go on like this. Every year, returning, restless and broken, haunting and haunted. Please let me move on. I need to move on. Please, please help. Are you here?
Of course.
To help?
Of course, Frida.
Yes, of course, dear.
yeah.
And this will be our first verity check. So, if on Discord you can all send me a message whether you really are here to help her, as you implied, or whether there was some falsehood there. And you see her still staring at you with that frown. You see her still looking through you as she seems to contemplate everything. You don't need to explain why it was a truth or a lie. It's potentially the ghost believing you, even if you did lie. Potentially the ghost might have doubts, even if you did speak the truth, as her memory grows a little bit sharper. Now, I'm going to make a couple of rolls. If there's anything you want to do amongst yourselves, if Adi feels a little bit worried and wants to hold on to Elke, or even if you have questions for Frida, then do let me know, and we can do that.
Elka is holding Adi's hand, and she leans over and goes, Adi, dear, we're not old. 40 is not old. Grown up, yes, but we're not old.
Frau Jensen, it doesn't seem as if she remembers what. She doesn't remember her name. What does that mean?
I don't know, dear, but that's why we're here. We want to help Frau Bach. We want to help her remember.
I thought she could tell us what happened to her.
Oh, I think, just like the rest of us, that night, it is a blur at times, the memories. Well, I think that may be true for Frida.
And Heinrich will sort of turn over to Friedrich, because I imagine in the seance circle he's between Friedrich and Frida. What was your connection to Frau Bach? I knew you were co-workers, but did you her as a friend? Someone to be feared?
I came into this knowing that she was going to be my boss. I knew immediately that it was going to be a tough relationship. So I did try. I tried to be friendly.
You seem the sort. I've delivered some supplies to your school many a time, and you seem nice enough.
He's very nice.
As most teachers should be.
I appreciate the kind words, Adi. I do. I hope you're doing well.
But you're headmaster now, so that's good.
It's not the future that I look for.
As you say, headmaster now, her head twitches a little bit. The schoolhouse. Yes. On my last day on this earth, I was on my way to the schoolhouse to prepare lessons. I saw you on the way, Adi. Why did our paths cross?
Oh. Annie looks really uncomfortable with that question. And looks to Elke for reassurance that it's okay to speak.
It's okay.
I was out. I was out going to meet friends. And you caught me playing around, horsing around, just doing things stupid 14-year-old boys do sometimes, and you weren't happy.
I wasn't happy.
No. You weren't happy with me.
How did you enrage me?
I don't know. You're always so mad at me all the time. I don't think I really did anything. Not much. You were always mad at me. You always yelled at me for not doing for everything. Maybe I did. Headmistress Bach, maybe I wasn't as respectful as I could have been, and sometimes I wound you up a bit, or made jokes, or didn't come to class, or didn't do my work, or didn't. Well, you were mad at me because I made a joke in class the day before. A joke. It was just a small prank, but I watered all of your chalk so you couldn't use it.
Elke, you were there. Was I very angry at the boy?
Well, Frida, You were a rather stern schoolmistress at times, and I mean, you had a good heart, though. You tried to, you wanted to for them to learn, but you could be a bit harsh in your ways, just just as some parents are. You very, very much believed, of course, that to spare the rod was to spoil the child. And, um, I have to say, I didn't always approve, but you seemed even more out of sorts that morning than usual. I mean, Miss Adi had played a prank on you, but you were as if something else was bothering you that morning. Something else had gotten your temper up. And perhaps it
Is
was
that
the
why you
holidays. Who knows? Oh,
Is that why
well,
you were there?
darling,
What were you doing
well, it
at the
was
schoolhouse?
Christmas Eve. Oh, I had come up to see you to see if you needed anything from the market. I had come from my farm. Well, it's no longer the farm. I had come from the farm, was on my way to town, and so I thought I would stop in, see you, and I saw the light on. The school's, of course, out for the Christmas holiday, and I wanted to check on you, see if you needed anything from the market that I could bring you.
So kind.
It's,
Always so
well, I mean,
kind.
we were friends, dear.
It's so cold that day. You and Friedrich. Cold. Why were you ignoring each other, Friedrich? Why were you cross with Elke?
Oh, Frida, I had gone to Elka to discuss some of the things that you had been doing to the students. She did not always believe what I said and was a good friend to you. Took your side in the discussions. Friedrich looks around and looks directly at Adi, knowing that Frida had been very cruel to him over some small things, and even looks at Heinrich, and kind of gives like a, kind of what I'm talking about type of a look. And so Friedrich turns back to Frida and says, so it was because of her friendship with you that we weren't seeing eye to eye.
I see.
Yes.
I do not
But I
see
appreciated
you,
your
though.
honesty, Friedrich.
Yes. I want to help get this situation resolved.
I did not see you there, Heinrich. Why not? Where were you that morning?
Well, I had been helping my family prepare for Christmas Eve. Well, it was just me and my wife, Sophie, but we were making do with what little we had at the time. So I was making some meals for myself, her, and my younger sibling, Kersta, who was unfortunately taken by the same thing that took so many people here.
The flood. I remember the clouds. That noon, They started rolling in from the sea. As she drifts off, staring into nothingness, let me know again if what you said during this was mostly truthful or if you kept something from her during her questions.
Headmaster Schreiber, could you tell me where you're from again? Where did you come from before you were here?
I was actually born here, and my family moved away down south, further away. It's a small place. You probably wouldn't have heard of it, so I won't even mention it. But I came back after I'd gone to school and learned some more from my father. He was a great author. I really wanted to take an opportunity to learn from him and study with him, but we decided that coming back here was what was best for us.
The town where you studied, was it big?
No,
What was
it
it
wasn't.
like?
It was small and in the wilderness and in the mountains. It was just studying with my father, to be honest with you. It was just the two of us, and he was an author, like I said, and I got to spend my days with him and learning, studying from his work. But the small wilderness town that we were in wasn't doing well, so we figured that moving back to the coast would be what was best.
Are you still working on your stories, Friedrich?
Of course I am. Yes. But
Good.
You were always writing, I remember it. Between your lectures, sometimes during your lectures, always jotting down notes. Not schoolwork, not for the children, but for yourself. Preparation was done for the morning. I was no longer needed. No, not needed on Christmas Eve in the schoolhouse. So I left. And I saw you, Friedrich. But I don't remember where I saw you that day, that afternoon. Tell me, where did I see you?
well, it was. Friedrich looks a little ashamed. He says, "It was on the edge of town, Rita. As you may not remember, I was trying to gather a Christmas tree. I hadn't got one yet because I was doing so much preparation for school that you wanted me to do. So after we were finished at the school, I went to the edge of town and started to cut a small pine tree."
It was a beautiful tree. Very even. It would look beautiful, decorated with straw stars. You winced when you saw me. Always so afraid. Always so weak.
Friedrich looks around the room and kind of, again, bows his head. He's kind of in a very giving posture, nervous, scared at this point, and just kind of looks around for reassurance.
Elka looks at the ghost. Frida, that was unkind.
I saw Headmaster Schreiber in the forest that day. He was there. It was quiet. He was cutting the tree, and then I saw Headmistress Bach. I saw you. It seemed you just nodded, passed by. He said something to him, and then he said something to you. I was too far away. I was in the woods. That's in the woods. It doesn't matter. But
Yes.
but then it was just pleasant, and then you left, and he went on about his business.
Yes, that was you. Little Adi, that was you I saw running through the woods. So fast, so hurried. Running home? Why in such a hurry on Christmas Eve?
Oh, me. Oh, I was in trouble, and my father was mad at me because you told him that I was not at work on the docks the way I was supposed to be the day before, that I was at the schoolhouse and running around with friends and not making the nets. It wasn't really your business what I was doing. I wasn't at school. It wasn't a school day, but you told my father anyways that I wasn't doing my job. Just wanted to play. My father was very angry at me, and he told me I had to be home before it got dark. I was in trouble, and I was playing with friends again. I was late. I wasn't home early like I was supposed to be. I had extra chores and extra work, and I was in trouble because you told him. I was just playing, and I realized it was late again.
'Cause you're never doing what you're told. So many times. So many times I've tried to raise you proper. I'm a very naughty child, Addie. Always playing, always with your heads in the clouds. What is that play you liked so much? That silly little game.
It wasn't silly. It was very important. We'd make a circle in the sand by the beach, and we each have a rock, and our goal was to we'd put one rock in the center, and we'd stand back. We'd put the best rock, the prettiest rock, the most interesting rock, our favorite rock, the one we all decided was the best. And so we'd put in the center of the circle, and then we would take 10 steps back from the circle, and we'd turn and we'd face, and one by one we'd each throw our own stone towards the center one, and whoever got closest could have that stone. And we would play until someone had all the stones, and that person was then the Kaiser or the Kaiserin for the week, and then other people would do their homework for them.
Always playing, always playing.
You were very good at that game, weren't you, Adi?
I was very good.
I returned to the village. Heinrich, when I came back to the marketplace, someone was with me. I feel someone beside me. Who was that? Was that you?
That would have been your husband, Jean. He was a He was a good man. Unfortunately, moved away, I believe, not long after the flood.
My husband. Where is he? She starts looking around the room.
Frida, dear, he moved after the flood. He losing you was too much for him, and the children, and he left.
He left. They left me. You didn't leave me. She looks back to Heinrich. You're here. He is not.
I am, and considering some of the circumstances, I wish he was here in my place.
You wish to be away from me?
No, it's seeing the dead, especially someone you were friends with. It's jarring, to say the least.
Yes. Friends. Elka. Such a good friend. I met you at the marketplace. It was loud. So loud. So busy. Why? What happened?
Well, it was the morning before Christmas. Of course, the market was busy and loud, everybody talking, and families had come to visit the relatives, and so there were lots of people talking and sharing good wishes, and of course children running around yelling and playing their games. I remember some of the little ones playing tag. The littles. They were running around. They were playing tag and their games, singing their songs, and everyone selling their wares. Of course, last minute gifts, and talking to the butcher to get the meat for Christmas dinner. And it was a rather boisterous morning, but again, everyone was in a good mood, I think, ready to celebrate.
Yes. Yes. A good mood. Christmas.
Yes,
We
dear.
enjoy
Christmas.
Christmas. You enjoy Christmas.
Yes.
Always so helpful. Happy. Always.
Well, I try to be, dear. I try to be. It makes me feel young. Keeps me young, I think.
Send me again your truth or your lies statement in Discord, please, about whether what you said was entirely truthful or if you kept something substantial or actually misrepresented your truth.
I do remember the children running. They were having such a good time. It helped bring the spirit up for Christmas.
Yes,
They
always.
were
And,
always rambunctious. Spook the horses every now and then. But you were always nice to them, Adi.
Yeah. Herr Stahlknecht, when were you studying? How long ago were you studying with Headmistress Bach?
Oh, long time ago. I believe she was still a teacher before she was headmistress. I believe I was about 14 at the time.
I was 14
Her,
when the
her,
flood came.
her style of teaching is probably about the same as it was before.
Were
Flood.
you one of her favorites or one of her not favorites?
Um, it depended on the day, really.
Always
Always.
one of my favorites. And she stares at you unblinkingly, and as she does, you feel her presence grow stronger, grow more intimidating. You cannot take your eyes away from her, and it withers part of your soul. You take one harm as she looks right through you. She
Heinrich?
looks around, her movements a little bit more jagged, a little bit more frantic now.
What's happening?
Are you okay, Heinrich?
No. And you can tell Friedrich, like, not necessarily a vice grip, but he is bordering on, like, white knuckling your hand right now. And his face is flushed a bit.
Herr Stahlknecht, you're bleeding from your nose a little.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, my favorite.
Peter,
You are hurt. I do not like to see you hurt. We had so much to do that afternoon up at the schoolhouse when the winds picked up and the storm clouds had grown dark and the first shingles of the roof flew across the schoolyard. It took half the roof. I saw it from the market. I ran up and you were there. You were there with me to help, weren't you? Weren't you, Heinrich? Always there to help.
Yes.
Why?
I was.
So many were scared of me. You would always help. Why?
I try to see the good in all people, Frau Buck, and some people who are stern, as you were, sometimes just need help from people. I did so because I knew there was a good person underneath that stern exterior.
And you think you were the person I needed?
Possibly a person, but not the person.
Yet you were there always when I asked.
As I try to do with anyone I can.
But
And
not you,
Friedrich, it is now
Friedrich.
sort of progressed to like a vice grip on your hand.
Heinrich, please, you're hurting me.
And he sort of snaps out of it for a second. I'm sorry, Herr Schreiber.
It is okay. I understand. This is not easy. This is very difficult. But what is she talking about? The one.
And he falls silent for a really long time.
Elka is looking between Freda and Heinrich with this, I see. Just a little disapproving look.
And while you are noticing, some of you are not noticing others of you, Frida has not moved. Instead, from Heinrich, she has moved her stare, her glare towards Friedrich, who is now realizing, as he looks back up from the hand to her, that he is being stared at. You were never there to help. Your schoolhouse, falling apart, torn apart by the storm, and you were not there. Why did you not help?
I understand. I understand why it seems that way. I don't think you fully understand things that I went through. My father, he was very strict with me. He wanted me to do the best, yes. He wanted me to do the best. He wanted me to be as successful as he was, but could not unless I spent all my hours outside of the schoolhouse, spending any minute that I had working on my writing. And Friedrich is still in this like almost collapsed position, just cowering and looking up at Frida because he saw what she just did to Heinrich with her stare, and now she's like fixated on him, and he is not feeling well with the whole situation, obviously. And when he's not looking back at her because it's hard, he's looking at the others, just like almost not to the point of mouthing "help me," but it's like, is this really happening?
Adi just squeezes your hand because Adi has Elke on one side of him and Friedrich on the other, and he just squeezes your hand. It's sort of like, it's kind of like, Elke squeezes his hand for reassurance, and then it's sort of like that sort of energy flows through, and he just squeezes his teacher's hand just for a little reassurance. But it's odd to see your teacher be so distressed. So it's like it's a weird feeling to see like your teacher, who's your authority figure, sort of be so upset. But he just squeezes a little bit.
Your father was a brilliant writer. You were not. Have you improved
Frida.
since my passing?
I had a feeling that when we came here, you would find a way again to make me feel this way. I don't understand. And yes, maybe I wasn't as good as my father, but I think I am. I think I am a pretty good author. And regardless of what you say. And now Friedrich, Friedrich's kind of getting like a
Anything
little bit of confidence in himself, because he does. And in this question, here you go. Yeah. Yes, I have finally published a book, and it's doing well, and that to me tells me that I am not this terrible author that you always told me I was.
We can only rise and improve in the face of adversity. If I provided that adversity to you, you should be grateful.
Now, Friedrich is very much like, obviously she has worn on him throughout his life, but he's a smart guy, so he understands, like, wow, she is kind of right. It's one of those things you learn from every leader that you have, but he realizes, like, this is what I have taken away from it, and maybe she did help me get to this point, and it's a very uneasy feeling.
And headmaster as well. You have only profited from my teaching as you have from my passing, it seems.
Now, Frida, I would not go that far. What you've done to me, and the emotional pain that you've put me through, I would not consider any sort of payment.
Are you glad I'm gone?
Frederick looks around the room and, starts to feel that same overwhelmed feeling. Yes.
Adi, are you glad I'm gone?
If I answer, will you hurt me?
You only hurt yourself.
It's not fair.
Life is not fair.
I am not sad you're gone. I'm sad my parents and my brothers and sisters are gone. I try not to think about you. You won't let me forget you, but I try not to think about you. So I try not to think about you. I try not to think about you. I try not to dream about you. I try not to remember. So, yes. No, it's not polite. It's not polite to say you're glad someone is dead. So,
You should tell the truth.
it's not good for people to die. There's been so much loss, so much death. And anyone being dead is a tragedy. I learned that in school. But I don't feel sorrow that you're not here. I feel not happy, but I feel guilty and maybe I feel it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. I should feel bad.
Never a straight answer from young Adi.
I always say the wrong thing, and you always get mad at me for saying the wrong thing, and I never know what answer you want to hear from me. I always say the wrong thing, and I never get the right answer. I never give the right answer. Always I make the wrong ones, and I was just so afraid to say the wrong answer. I don't know if you want me to say that I'm happy you're dead or that I'm sad you're dead. I don't know what the right answer is.
Adi,
Look at me.
it's okay.
Look at what
Calm
happened to
down.
me when I lied.
You lied?
You Heinrich.
But why would you do that?
People have their reasons.
Herr Starknecht, what did you lie about?
I believe that Elke was able to tell.
Frau Jensen?
What? Yes. I mean, Heinrich, truly. You know the way she treated Friedrich and Adi and most of her students. You were different. Even after you left the school, especially after you left the school. Did you think no one would notice?
He just sort of bows his head.
There was a fight that day. Adi, there was a fight. Between whom?
Oh.
What were they fighting over?
Oh. Oh, a fight. I think, there's so many fights. I was, fighting with my father. My father was yelling at me because I did not do my work.
Is that the right answer?
My father did yell at me, though. He did. Because I was always getting into trouble. And you always got me in trouble. I would do things and you would tell my father all the time. So he did yell at me that day.
Elke,
Yes,
the
Frida.
day when we tried to repair the schoolhouse in the storm.
Yes.
A day when Friedrich was nowhere to be seen. And Adi got into trouble as always.
Yes.
Some strife, some fight, I remember. I got hurt. How? You wouldn't let me down,
Well,
Elke.
No, dear, no. Frida, we are indeed women of a certain age, and that means we probably should not be climbing around on roofs during storms or in stormy weather when it was windy as it was. It had blown the shingles off, and yet rather than go ask for help, since Friedrich wasn't there, you were stubborn and decided that you were going to do it yourself. And you slipped. The tiles are cold. It's slate, and slate gets slippery, and especially with the sea, the storm, well, you slipped and you fell. You hurt yourself because you were stubborn.
Send me your lie or truth statement, please.
I don't like this. This is a trap. I think she's not here to move on. I think she's here for revenge. That's what I think. I think she wants revenge.
But revenge for what, Adi?
I don't know. But she hurt Herr Stahlknecht and Dre Jensen, I don't know, but I don't like it. She's a ghost.
Adi. Well, yes, Adi. But there have been ghosts every year. Not just...
No, but this is... Did you see
I
the
know.
look she
It
gave
is-
Herr Stahlknecht?
Yes, well, he may have been her favorite, but he lied to her, and you know, lying is not good. That is one thing I could always count on you for, Adi. Is that you always tell the truth, even if it gets you in trouble. You still tell the truth, and you're a good boy. You're becoming a very fine young man. You've had to grow up hard and fast, but you're a good young man.
I don't mind getting in trouble if I do something wrong.
But you must try not to do something wrong. You take responsibility. And that
You're
is also
trying
what makes
to-
you a good young man.
Steel yourself, Adi. You're trying to believe what Elka is saying. You're trying to believe in yourself amidst all that despair and sadness of the last 4 years, and the one thing that was finally out of your life now returning to just pile on even more. But it's so hard. It's an endless black hole you feel you're falling into, and the vertigo, you feel it, your stomach is churning, and the room is spinning, except for one thing within that room, and that is Frida looking at you, just like she looked at Heinrich, staring through you, knowing you take one harm.
Adi? Adi? Are you okay? What is... Frida, stop this!
And Adi throws up
How can...
blood.
Elka takes her shawl and she wipes his face and dabs at his mouth. It's okay, Adi. It's okay. And she's still holding onto these hands, and she wants to let go of Frida's hands so desperately, but she was warned not to. So she kind of burns her hand up to Adi, up his arm to not break the contact with him, and puts an arm around his shoulder and pats him. It's all right, Adi. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. She's just glaring right back at Frida.
I'm dizzy. I feel like...
It's okay. Take a deep breath.
I can sense
It's going
your
to be okay.
lies. You've lied to me. You weren't supposed to lie to me. All of you. You want to be good children. You want to be good. You want to help. You say you want to help me? Why are you not helping me? You're supposed to
want to
help
help.
me.
I am helping.
We are helping you.
I need to know what happened. I need the truth from you. Just the truth.
You're just here to punish us. That's all, like you always do. You're not here for
I
the
only
truth, you're here to
punish
punish
those
us.
that deserve to be punished, Adi.
You never deserve to be punished. Only sometimes, but not so much. is unfair.
I said so many times before, and never do you listen, that there is no such thing as fair out there. Do you think I enjoy punishing you? I do it
Yes.
to help you. I do it to be kind. Or the world will not be kind to you, Adi. And yet, you never learn. You just enrage me.
I always did make you mad. I always made you mad, always.
And Friedrich
Sorry.
always taking your side, and Friedrich always protecting. And protecting is the worst to do. So weak.
No, Frida. There's other ways. You don't have to do it the way that you did it. You think that you're this perfect teacher and everything that you say and do is the right way and the only way, and it's not true. There's other ways. It's okay, Ed. It's okay.
You were always so calm, Friedrich. I see a little bit of storm in you now. It is good. It is needed. But Elke, when the storm died down that day, when it stopped raining, and I returned to the school to see if our repairs had held up, if those precious books were protected, you interrupted me. Why did you stop me that night?
Well, Frida, dear, you had hurt yourself earlier in the day. I want to make sure that you're all right, and really, you shouldn't have been going back up to the school in that weather. I mean, yes, there was a break in the storm, but still, you should have gone home to your husband. Let him take care of you. It was Christmas Eve, Frida. Yes, I stopped you. Tried to talk a little sense into you. You, so stubborn. Listen, so...
What sense could
Hold on
you possibly
yourself.
talk into me?
Well,
You
Frida,
have
we
so
were
little of it
friends.
yourself. Always so kind.
Frida.
Always so helpful.
That's what I'm
Always
trying to
wanting
do.
everyone to love you, to like you.
Well, it doesn't do me much good as the midwife if they don't like me. And obviously, I can't help them. Of course, I want them to like me. I'm your friend, Frida. I was your friend, and I wanted to help you.
Frau Jensen is good, headmistress. She took me in after everyone died. She's kept me safe these 4 years. She is good.
It's okay, Addie. It's okay. I've known Frida a very long time. Haven't I, Frida? We were girls together. Do you remember? Do you remember your first day at the school? When we were at school together, not a headmistress. You were such a solemn, quiet little thing. Even then, you held yourself back. But we were friends.
Yes. You are very easy to be friends with.
Well, thank you, Frida. That's a very, very nice thing to say. And I I appreciate you saying that. But really, you
So many of. Keep going.
so harsh on others, and yet I know you are hard on yourself as well, but you... It saddens me to see that you are still this angry. You're so angry, always so angry, taking it out on everyone. You say you wanted them to be better, but oh dear, you know, you,
Don't
carrot, not
keep
the
talking.
stick.
Speak your mind, Elka. Honesty, remember?
I am speaking my
Tell
mind.
me.
What do you want to know, Frida?
Did you really care for me?
Of course.
As a friend, not just as the midwife who wants everyone to care about her.
Of course I cared about you, Frida. Of course I did. Did I not celebrate your wedding with you? When you married Herr Bach, I was there for you when you needed me. I tried to talk to you as a friend so many times.
Yet I never told you about Heinrich, did I?
You didn't have to tell me, dear. I could see that. I knew you. Some 30-odd years and knew each other. Did you think I wouldn't notice?
When I was heading up to the school, after Elka tried to stop me, I walked past your house, Heinrich. Just that spot where you would always wave to me from the study. And you saw me, but you didn't wave this time. You didn't come out to help this time. Why did you stay inside? I needed you.
I had seen you from my study window, but the way that Frau Jensen had followed you to the schoolhouse that evening was odd. She didn't seem to have that kind demeanor that she normally has. There was intent.
No. Frau Jensen is good. She's kept me...
Not all
fed and
people
clothed.
are kind every day, Erstrick. I simply watched so that if something were to happen, I could come running.
Speak plain, Heinrich.
What do you mean?
Intent to hurt.
No.
Why would I hurt my friend? Trust me, boy, I knew her longer than you did. I've known her as long as you've been alive, longer than. Don't you dare accuse me of that. Shame on you.
Then why
You
were you
married man as
following
well.
her up that ladder to the roof?
to help her.
He just narrows his eyes. Whatever
Herr
you
Mistress
have
Bach
to
was
do.
not found at the roof. She was found at the docks. Frau Jensen had nothing to do with this.
That
Should
does
not
not
say unkind
mean
things.
that she was killed at the dock.
Are you suggesting something?
I'm not suggesting that Frau Jensen is the one who killed Frau Bach. But that night she did seem unlike herself.
Killed. Murdered. Me?
Yes, Frida, that's what we suspect may have happened to you.
Yeah, why were you just watching, Heinrich? Why did you not protect me then? I could still be alive. I could still be here. If you had protected me.
I thought that the time I had was a holiday after all. Needed to be spent with my wife. Trust me when I wish I could have been there to protect you, but that night was different, and I'm sorry.
Are you? Sorry?
Yes.
Something was taken. Something was taken. More than just my life that night. Something was taken. Friedrich, what was taken?
Friedrich
What
looks
was
around.
taken? Tell me. What was taken? Who took it? Who took it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was taken. But
Did you take it? Did you take it from me? Did you steal it like you stole my position?
no. I didn't even want your position.
My life's
No, I didn't
work.
take that.
You stole it from
No.
me, didn't you?
No, absolutely not. No, it was. I saw Heinrich take something.
Who took it? Heinrich?
What the hell are you talking about, Herr Schreiber?
I don't know. I don't know. I know I saw you and you had something, and I don't know what it was. I just don't know.
I took nothing of Frau Bach's. What I had on me was a gift for my wife.
What did you have on you, Heinrich?
It was a necklace similar to the one I wear now. My wife had been considering converting, so I got it for her as a symbol of such.
Heinrich, I do hope you're not lying to Frida again. It did not go well for you the last time.
Like I said, Airstrick, not all women who put on the airs of kindness seem that way always.
Is it not a kindness to remind you of what happens when you lie, to save you from injury or harm?
You're only here to save yourselves. All of you.
It's not
Not
true.
to help.
No, dear.
Not to help
We-
me. You never cared for me. None of you.
It's not true, Frida.
Adi.
We're here so that you can have peace.
Adi, I saw you be disappointed that day. Was it disappointed because I didn't fall from the roof and break my neck right away? Did you have to help out with that? Did you have to help me along? So disappointed that I was still alive? Why were you disappointed that day, Adi? Why were you so sad that day, Adi? It was Christmas. It was a joyful day for everyone. It's Christmas Eve. It's a happy day for everyone. Why were you not happy, Adi?
What is the right answer? What do you want to hear always? You ask me hard questions. Questions I don't always know the answer to.
Don't hide. Don't hide your feelings, Adi. Your feelings. Your honest feelings. I asked you a question. The answer is simple. Speak the truth and speak up and don't mumble.
Do you remember in school, you'd always make me say things out loud in front of the class. You'd always make me read out loud and do math on the board in front of everyone, and I would always get the wrong answers, and then they would laugh at me. Remember that, Headmistress Bach? Do you remember?
Of course I do. It was pitiful. Pitiful
Well,
to witness.
I remember one poem. I remember one. Schiller. The great poet Schiller. This one I remember. And the poem is called Worth and the Worthy. And it's short. And it says, Schiller wrote, he says, if thou anything hast, let me have it. I'll pay what is proper. If thou anything art, let us our spirits exchange. That's the poem, and I remember it. You won't hurt Frau Jensen, and you will not hurt Herr Schreiber. So, if you want to hurt anyone, you should hurt me, not them. They're good people.
No,
So,
no, Adi.
hurt me. Yes,
Adi, no. You're a good boy. You do not deserve to be treated this way by her.
you, Frau Jensen, you are the midwife. You are needed in this town. Herr Schreiber, you're a teacher, and you're the best teacher I've ever known. And this town won't be good without either one of you two. And so, if she's here for revenge, she should take revenge on me. So,
No.
Mistress Bach, you can take your revenge on me then.
We can't hear you, Lydia. Liddy.
I'm here for the truth, which you haven't given me. Not a word you spoke was an answer. Just deflection, just pitiful stammering. Sheila, well taught by your dear headmistress. You remembered the poem, I'm so proud. Yet you did not do as I asked. You did not answer. You did not give me the truth, Addie. I am not here for blood. I am here for the truth. Give it to me.
All right.
Give it to me.
You want to hear what you want to hear. I did it. I was at the roof and I pushed you down the roof and I killed you and no one else had anything to do with it. It was after Frau Jensen left. I came there from another place. I was in the woods and then I was at the schoolhouse and then I pushed you. You didn't fall. I did it and I was disappointed because I did it.
And
He
please
said, "Why I
send
saw you
me
down by the docks."
your lie or truth statements at this point, and you can continue that conversation in a second.
Addie, is that why I saw you at the docks?
At the schoolhouse. I was at the schoolhouse. I wasn't at the docks. I did it. So I was there. I was there at the schoolhouse.
Then why was
Who
her
are you
body at the
protecting, Addie?
docks, Estrich?
I brought the body to the docks. I pushed her off the schoolhouse, and then I took her body to the docks because it's
You shouldn't lie, Addie. I know you. I can tell. I don't know why you think that you need to do this, but you don't need to lie. I don't want her to hurt you again.
I don't want anything bad to happen to you, Frau Jensen.
Nothing bad is going to happen to me. We must tell the truth. She shoots a look at Heinrich. It just I mean, if she was a ghost, it would be it's just this cutting look. We must tell the truth. If we tell the truth, and then we can give Frau Bach, we can give Frida her peace.
And Frida is not looking peaceful. You see her shimmering form grow dense with almost smoke that starts filling the room. The candles are burning quickly down, and it's cold. The wind that has come from nowhere in particular, it picks up again. It is icy cold. It is freezing cold, as is her glare. You did kill me, Addie. You pushed me off the roof, Addie. Little weak Addie pushed me off the roof. You will pay for this. I want my peace. I deserve my peace. I had to deal with your competence for so many years, and you murder me for it. You take another harm.
Elka puts her arm around him again and is just holding him, just wiping his face with her shawl.
I'm sweating, and my hair, like part of my hair is bleached white in this moment. Like there's like a shock of hair all bleached white, and I'm sweaty and sort of cold and clammy, crying in confusion and fear.
You selfish brat. All of you selfish. All of you. The water flooding our homes, taking away the brood, taking away the people. I wasn't asleep. I should have been asleep. I should have been in my bed. I would have been with my husband still. My husband who loved me so, Why was I not with him? I should have been with him. I was going out. Where was I going? Towards the place where I perished. Was it the schoolhouse? Was it the dock? Where was I going? Why would I be going to the dock? Heinrich, why were you not with me? Why were you not there, Heinrich? Why were you not there?
Friedrich once more, that almost vice grip on your hand. I was trying to save who I could. My wife, Sophie, sibling, Gersta, my favorite horse, Seabird.
Your horse?
All for naught. All dead.
Your horse. And the wife that you never loved, the wife that you cheated on.
Shut up!
The
Shut
wife
up!
that you cheated on with me so very often, Heinrich. Your horse, you wanted to save your horse and let me perish in the flood and let me die to be rid of me. To be rid of me, that's what you wanted, to be rid of me, isn't it, Heinrich? You never cared for me. You never loved me, Heinrich. You would have saved me if you had. Why were you not there, Heinrich? Your horse. The candle in front of you is bright, burning bright with red-hot anger. Why were you not there for me?
I said what I said. That night, my family meant more. And yes, horse might seem ridiculous, but that horse was family to me. You didn't
I was
hear.
not.
You didn't hear their screams, Frida. Do you know what a horse sounds like when it's drowning, gasping for air? It is one of the most horrific things one can experience.
I died that day, Heinrich, you selfish man. You selfish little man. Adi. My murderer. You have confessed. You have given me the right answer for once in your miserable life. What, pray tell, did you pray for that Christmas Eve, your blood-stained hands folded in front of you? What would a murderer pray for?
Do I have to say it's private?
It's okay, Adi. Elka's got her arm. It's one arm still around you. She's almost hugging you close, and she's been just glaring at Heinrich the whole time. It's okay, Adi.
I prayed that Headmaster Schreiber would like me.
What do you mean, Addie? I do like you. You were a good student. I know that you were troubled, but I know when you focused on the things that you needed to focus on, that you were smart, and you were a good student. I enjoyed seeing you come to class and the interactions we had.
Of course you would protect him. A little murderer, a little villain. Of course you would take his side in the eyes of justice. You would let your weakness get the better of you. Of course you would do that, Friedrich. Lying sleepless at night, every night since, like that night of my passing, of my vicious murder. You could not sleep that night, and you will never sleep again. Why did you not sleep that night? Save your wretched soul by telling me the truth.
Into this. I didn't sleep that night because I murdered you.
No.
Yes, Addie. It was
No.
me.
No.
I couldn't take it any longer.
No.
I couldn't watch her cause pain to everyone else. I couldn't. Here I was, Christmas Eve. I didn't even have a Christmas tree. I wasn't allowed to do anything between my father and between Frida. I couldn't. I couldn't any longer. And I know I didn't want to be the headmaster of the school. No, that's not my goal. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to get away from it all. But the pain that she caused everyone around her, I couldn't take it anymore.
Mistress Bach, please don't listen to him. Please.
You
Please.
vie for the honor of being my killer? You fight over who? Who murdered me? Over losing your soul?
No. I've been too cowardice my entire life. And this is my opportunity. I did it. It was me. I was the one that did it, the whole time. Adi had no part of it.
Oh, Friedrich. You're such a bad liar.
No.
Headmaster Schreiber, it would break my heart if you went away. I don't want the spirit to take you.
Addie, you have so much more life to live. I've lived a good life so far. I've been published. That's my life goal. I've accomplished it. I did this for all of you, for everyone. I had to.
Headmaster Schreiber, I don't have any family left, and they're all dead. And I don't have good skills, and I always got in trouble, and I wasn't, but you're a writer, you've been published, you've studied, and you're smart and kind, and you're a really good teacher. It wasn't her that made me memorize that poem, it was you. You didn't yell at me, you encouraged me, and I memorized it, and I read a little of your book. It was very good, and I don't want you to go. You deserve to be here, and Frau Jensen deserves to be here because she took me in, and I don't have anything else. So you should not lie. You should let me say what I did, and it was I pushed her off the roof, and then I was disappointed for a reason, and then I just took her body to the docks and I put it there, and then I ran home, and
How do you?
I had bloody hands and everything. What?
No.
She said.
We all know that's not true. We know that it's not true, and just because I've done things in my life doesn't mean that it's not over, and I'm willing to move on. And just because you don't have family anymore doesn't mean you can't go and make your own family, and you can take what you've learned from me and make a better life. It's always possible. You have a lot left in front of you.
I just don't believe you did it. You can't have done that. You couldn't.
As Heinrich said earlier, not everyone that you know and you think you know are the same people that you actually do know. There's veils in front of people's eyes. I know that I've tried to be good to everyone in town and all the students. And this, in my eyes, is a good thing to do.
You
I
deserve
had-
each other. All
You're
of
free
you.
to shut up.
Frau Jensen.
And Elke. You join them? You forsake me?
No, Frida.
In the
but
hour
I
of
am
my
tired
suffering,
of
you
watching.
stand with my murderers.
I stand with any who are suffering. It's my job. It is what I do to ease suffering. You know that.
Is that why
And
you
you-
woke up when the flood came, or were you two wanting to push me off a roof, drown me in the North Sea, thrust a dagger through my heart? Were you just trying to help out there, or were you just trying to help yourself?
I was trying to help. There were people who needed help, and I was out there helping. Adi, break my heart. I thought we were family now. You say you have no family. Breaks my heart. I
We are
see
I'm
now.
doing-
sorry.
You
Go for it.
care
I'm sorry.
And
I'm
Frida.
sorry.
It's okay, Adi. It's okay.
Yes.
I forgive you. See how easy that is, Frida. You hear I'm sorry, and you say, I forgive you. Friedrich, the lies. Really. It's too much. I was out helping people. Frida, it's what I do. There were people who were injured, like yourself. I was out helping them.
We're doing one more round of truth or lie in this case.
It's okay, Adi. It's going to be okay. I know you did not kill her. It's going to be okay. You are a good, strong man. Friedrich, you should set a better example for your students. Not lie.
As the candles flare, with an enraged spirit slowly clawing into the table, looking down upon the table, shivering and shaking with rage. I'm rolling one more harm die, because those harm points were never doled out because you lied. They were absolutely random. And you take one more harm, Adi.
That is 3, is it not?
That is 3.
Adi just looks at Frau Jensen and says, I know. You made me feel like family even after I lost everything. And if I may say, I love you, Frau Jensen. Thank you for... I don't feel good.
I love you too, Adi.
You shouldn't feel good. You don't deserve to feel good. You murderer. All
Stop
of
it,
you
Frida.
murderers.
Headmaster.
Stop
All
it.
of you.
Schreiber.
It's okay. It's okay. Frida, stop.
I will have my peace. I will take my peace. I will take
never
you.
forget you.
Adi? Adi? Adi, no, no. Frida. Frida. Adi. Adi, no. Frida, what have you done? What have you
I
done?
have taken what he took from me.
No.
You all don't deserve my help, my teaching.
Elka breaks the circle as she gathers Adi's body to her. And she looks at Frida. And then she looks at Heinrich. And she says, Heinrich, You know well what the sound of a horse drowning is, yes. You described it for us, the scream, the gurgling. I can tell you what Frida sounded like when she drowned, because I did it. You mean, vicious, horrible woman. I tried to be your friend. I tried to care about you, to help. And you couldn't. You had no love in you, not for your husband, not for Heinrich, not for your students. There's no love in you. Just killed the boy. Yes,
And you
I
took in
drowned you
a
at the
strict.
dock. You were easy to catch up to.
I
Easy enough.
took my piece. You will not find yours. You will live.
I found my peace the day you died.
And with the circle broken, with Adi's body growing cold, his candle extinguished, 2 more confessions that the ghost doesn't even care about anymore. Just an evil grin on a grimace that was once a woman's face. A mean glistening in her eyes. And a cold rage emanating from her. You see her rise above the ground, leaving Rosvita's body, who is still hunched over, eyes closed in her chair. And Frida's form expands, her face growing larger, her grimace darker. You feel that shadow settling in your heart, settling deep within, almost like she leaves a part of herself with you to always remember her by. And the next time you blink, she is gone. The electricity, the tension
Good
in the
riddance.
room slowly ebbs. But Adi, hair completely white, is dead.
Oh, Adi. Poor boy.
You took him
He
in.
loved you, Friedrich.
You took him in so you could feel better about yourself.
No, Heinrich. I took him in because he was a good boy and he needed to be shown love and understanding.
Yet you showed none when you killed Frau Buck. His, pointing to Adi's body. This is on your hands.
Do you think I don't know that? Do you really think I don't know that? That this is what I have to live with? This boy who did nothing wrong. He suffered at her hands all his life, and then she took it. Could not have loved him more if he was my own son. It is my job in this village to help and care for the people here. I delivered him, Heinrich.
From
Yes.
the womb into the grave, it seems.
Yes, and that is mine to live with. I don't need your attempts at guilt. You cannot guilt me. You carry your own guilt. She just continues to hold and rock Adi's body to her. Every once in a while, her eyes dart to Friedrich. He was in love with you. Did you know that?
No, I had no time to pay attention to anything like that. I've never even wanted for love.
Books. He admired you, respected you. You were one of the few that showed him kindness.
Tried to do that with everyone. I wasn't trying to lead anyone on. I was so focused on my studies.
I understand, Friedrich. It is okay. But as long as we're telling truth tonight, I thought that was the truth you should know.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this stout woman, farmer's wife and midwife, picks up the body of this young boy, lays him on the bed in the house, wraps him up. Somebody go get the priest, please.
Roswitha is waking from her trance. Looks at Adi and you and hears what you said and runs off to get the priest. Adi is taken away. You are given a good helping of schnapps each, and each of you, please tell me, starting with Heinrich, what do you do that evening, that Christmas Eve, after these events have unfolded?
After coming down from the events that occurred, he is going to go to Frau Bach's grave at the schoolhouse. And as he sort of goes up to the grave, pulls out the one line he managed to get away with. The thing he stole from Frau Bach. And sort of sets it and leans it against whatever sort of headstone there is. And he just recites a short prayer. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant true rest upon the wings of the divine presence in the exalted spheres of the holy and pure. Therefore, may the all-merciful one shelter her with the cover of his wings forever, and bind her soul in the bond of life. The Lord is her heritage. May she rest in her resting place in peace. And let us say, Amen. And as he sort of gets up, dusts himself off, he just, in a brief fit of anger over the things he did and what occurred during that seance, he'll spit at the edge of the grave and walk away.
And as Heinrich walks away, Friedrich, what are you doing that evening?
Friedrich leaves as soon as he can, clearly distraught over the entire situation, goes back to his homestead and just starts packing everything that he owns. He tries to gather everything, and once he, gathers most of his stuff, he stops and realizes that's not the right thing to do. He knows that what Addie was saying before he passed, that it was true, and that he was good at what he did in teaching, but he also was a good author. So he sits down and just starts writing everything.
By candlelight, you write your story, your truth. Well, the village outside starts to prepare for celebrations, for Christmas dinners. For the first time in 4 years, peacefully so. Their peace, paid for with the life of a young man. The spirit, gone. No more waves of specters flooding through the streets. One life taken. For a life taken by Elke. How does Elke spend this Christmas Eve?
She spends it keeping watch over Adi's body. She spends it on her knees in prayer next to him. He was also the only family that she had left. Her oldest son, who had survived the flood, had moved away, sold the farm. She'd moved into town, taken Adi in, and they had their own new little family. She spends the night in confession with the priest when he arrives. And she will make sure that he is buried in consecrated ground. And then she will, with her head held high, after the burial, will continue her life in this town. Because she took a life to care for others. And she still needs to care for them.
And they are grateful for your care. Possibly some of them are even grateful for the life you took. Of that horrible woman that had been tormenting the children of the village for so very long. It's the 1700s. It's not like there's a complaint box. People smile at you. The next couple of days, they wish you a Merry Christmas. All of you. They're grateful. As the rumors spread about the seance, because in a village like that, of course people know. They know various versions of what happened, but they know something happened, and it was you three. And that Adi had given his life for their sake. They're not sure how that works. They're not sure why. They remember him fondly. The boy with his head in the clouds. So quick to stammer, so quick. Driven into insecurity by especially Frida Bach. That poor boy, they say. He suffered so much in life. Well, may he rest in peace. He was a good kid, they say. Thank you very much. Each and every one of you playing, each and every one of you watching here on YouTube, each and every one of you playing this magnificent game and understanding just how powerful these sort of roleplay games can be, because this is one of the best examples, one of the best showcases I've ever seen of just how deep these little games can go. And you did a fantastic job at showing that today. Thank you so much, guys. Do you need a minute? Do we want to go stream real quick and shake, or do you want to keep going and do the debrief here right away?
I think I'm good for the
could use a
debrief
few
on my
minutes.
end.
Yeah.
I could use a few minutes. I'll just excuse myself and be back.
That's fine. We will put on the Stille Nacht card real quick, and I will actually open the giveaway in chat. We have two PDFs that Petra is so kindly giving us. So in just a second, I'll open that giveaway, type in !loot, and when we're back in a few minutes, we will hand that out to you guys.
I'm stoked. This was so good. It was so good.
All right, we're back, everyone. Hello, chat. Thanks for still being with us. And thank you very much for all the donations we got during the game as well. We had Colinomicon, who is on right after us, coming in with 10 quid. We've got Roller 300 again. And of course, Current Charlie. Thank you very much for helping us reach our target for Take This for the charity. If you still want to donate, if you still want to help with mental health issues, especially in the gamer community, on conventions, that is what Take This is doing. Take This. It's dangerous out there, as we all know. So if you want to help, please use the donation link I mentioned, and we do have a little something for you as well. The giveaway in chat is still active, so please type loot, just like that, to win. I just typed it to show you, which means now I'm in it, but I have it. So if I win, we're going to do another one. I'm a smart person. So we are giving out 2 copies for this beautiful full game, actually, Stille Nacht, which is dropping on November the 2nd. Petra is in chat as well and has kindly offered to answer any questions that might be coming up. So if you have any questions, do let us know. Type it in chat. I'll keep an eye on it. And while that is going, I'm going to ask my lovely, lovely people here how they're doing, because did I promise too much when I said this game is intense?
No.
It's a very different experience from this side.
Yeah,
It
because
is
you ran it for
very
me
different.
before, and you ran it for the channel before as well. How did you feel? How did you feel being not just part of the village, but actually the murderer this time as well, Kat?
At first, I actually felt a little lost, because I'm used to having everything in front of me, and the questions and everything. And even as much as I've run it, you did such a great job making this the conversation very natural, that when Petra asked me, what scene are we on? And I was like, 5, I think, because I had nothing to track it with. That information gone is so pulled into the story, and listening to everybody and the story that we were telling, and it was, I mean, and that recording, I mean, you know how I feel about it. That hit even harder than it has before. That was a real gut punch. And very different experience, and one I'm very glad I finally got to have. Thank you, Lydia, so much. Thank you for doing this, for running this.
You're more than welcome, because I do enjoy this game, and it's a challenge, of course, because A, it's on stream, and B, I've already seen it run so fantastically, and living up to that is following in Kat's footsteps isn't easy. But I personally really enjoy historical settings. I'm Austrian, so that particular setting always spoke to me, even though it's the North, Prussians, la la la. But
the Preisen.
Die Preisen, Saarpreisen. Anyway, no, but the historical aspect is fantastic, and for me, always really roots it in reality so much better and so much more. That makes it more real. That makes these psychological sort of expeditions so much more personal in a way. So yeah, the historical aspect for me is such a big draw. But moving on to Spencer, how did you... Oh, sorry, did you want to say something?
I'm sorry, I need to make a small point. Petra says that East Frisia was not part of Prussia in 1720 yet, but I just want to note, as a person from Bavaria, anything over the white sausage border is Prussia. You just have to, it's just, there's like a... That's all I'm saying.
We're not going to go into this right now on stream. I'm also fully aware that this is a lot more complicated.
You see the academic there in his name, right? You do see the academic there in his name. That's
And I'm going to
Trooper,
accept
if
the
we're
effing
running-
barbarians from Petra. I take it. I take it.
If we're running off on one of your famous and fun tangents, we'll be here tomorrow and we've got clients after us. But let's do you first then, actually, Trooper. How did you feel being murdered in cold blood? We finally got to fucking play together and I murder you in the first game.
You know what? You didn't do it. You didn't murder me. Choices were made. Some of them were mine. You know, these things happen. I thought it was great. What a great session. I first off, Lydia, my goodness, you were such a great ghost. Such a great ghost. Oh my goodness. I don't think any of us could have done what we did. I mean, I can't speak for them. I'll speak for myself. I statements. I could not have done what I had done without your amazing ghostness. Your ghost was so excellent. So thank you. And then of
You're
course everyone else
such
was
a
so
bitch. My God.
You know, that's like
so horrible.
I don't know. I tend to have empathy anyway, and I think that, you know, Frida had stuff going on, but I imagine I imagine she probably didn't have the easiest life either. You're right. You know, it's what, the 1717. She's a headmistress with school. It's not like it is not a great time to be a woman in the 1700s. Like I imagine she probably had like a difficult life, and also this is a time period where people were not great to children, more generally speaking. So like I don't think of her as being the worst. I think Adi did, but I don't. I'm like, you know what? There are probably a lot of people who are like her, and I don't know what kind of trauma that she had that brought her to that space in various ways, and what sort of made her that space. So like as a player, I still have like a space of empathy for her. And I also imagine that Adi and a lot of the other kids were somewhat trying. That's what I also, you know, and you know, that's what I would say.
I fully agree, and I have to agree. I mean, that's the whole point when you're a game master of every game, really. You have to find that connection and that reason within a horrible character to be able to play them, because else you just, I mean, what's the point? Everyone is a hero in their own story. We all know the old adage, and that applies. But I'm still very sorry for having had to say all these horrible and like really gaslighting and just abusive things to you, because
but it was good because that way I could actually access my character. And I will say that my character Adi lied quite a bit. Well, yeah, he lied. He didn't lie. He lied, but he only lied to protect Elke and Friedrich. He never told a lie for himself. Every single lie that he told was about worrying that maybe one of them were the murderer, and he didn't want to lose either one of these two people in his life. And so every lie he told, every single one, was about protecting one of those two people. He never lied for himself.
I like how Heinrich's left out of that conversation.
He didn't need to lie for you because he actually didn't know about your stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, but you know, he could have, and he did. He was very thankful that you were kind to him regarding the horses, because that was something, you know, like he, you know, he's the kid in the village who got in a lot of trouble. he did, like, because he was like a bit of a dreamer. He didn't do his work that he was supposed to do. He'd sort of like run off and play with his friends and just not do his work, and he'd play pranks. So, you know, I went to try to get a little bit of a slight juvenile delinquent feel, so people might think that maybe he did it, because I was like, that should happen as well. But yeah, no, he lied, which made him look suspicious, to protect the two most important in his life.
Genuinely didn't know for a very long time who was the murderer. I did think it was Kat in the end, even before it became evident, just because she was so nice and caring and sweet. And I know Kat well enough to know that when she's playing someone so nice and caring and sweet, she will stab me in the back sooner or later. But Spencer, how did you feel about not just the horses? We now know how you feel about the horses, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Holy shit. Where to start? Man. Lydia, I think, as all of us have said, absolutely fantastic. and everyone else was so much fun, and I loved all of these characters, and I don't think I have ever felt that safe just getting fucking nervous, angry as all get out. Like, I've never felt safe, really, doing that in tabletop RPGs. And, I mean, I've had those moments, but it was never as pure anger as what it was today during some of the stuff that Frida was trying to accuse Heinrich of. And it felt weird, but also like kind of cathartic in a way to be able to be that angry, but also know we're safe, we're good here. And that was so amazing. And guys, if you haven't, please just find a way to play Stille Nacht, because yes, just yes.
Thank you very much for that donation, Anna, by the way. We're getting there. And we, of course, have Hani here, who also valiantly tried to protect Addy and the people. How did you feel? First time with us here, and already such an intense game.
Oh, man. Goosebumps. I had goosebumps like 10 different times in the game. Super awesome. So thank you for the game, Petra. That's super awesome. Thank you. Lydia, excellent job. The rest of the cast, thank you. I am a tabletop RPG noob. This was my first time, so everyone knows. And I come from video games, so totally different. I was completely nervous, but I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Everyone was wonderful. I think it was awesome.
You could have got tossed into the deep end on this one. And you
I never would have guessed.
took to it like
awesome.
a duck to water.
You took it with stride, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I
Could have been an
wished for a
easier
better
game.
group.
Yeah, you did it. You were amazing.
And that's the fun part and really interesting part, not just the emotional trauma, but the very simple fact that the game can change so much so quickly with what kind of ghost, what kind of person, what kind of dynamic the players come up with. And it's the players that come up with it. All of what you saw, I had no idea coming into this game what Frida was, which is why I decided to expand upon the beginning a little bit with what's the one word you associate with her, how does she haunt you? Because I wanted to get a little bit of a better feel for her personality and why she would ask the questions in the book, how she would ask the questions in the book, if she would ask another question first to then lead into the other. And the games I've seen played and been a player in, we've had a very kind spirit, we've had a very evil spirit before that was also super heavy. We've had so many different sort of approaches to it, always emotional, always highly emotional and highly interesting from a psychological viewpoint, but it is purely in the hands of the players, which also adds that extra sort of layer of, if not security, but that control aspect almost. Because one of the aspects of lines and veils and safety tools that we have been using for this game and are using for all of our games, one of the biggest issues when that control, that agency is taken away from you. And that is not the case with a game like this. And having that as a baseline, I personally feel, like you said, Spencer, it's much easier to open up to that level of emotional vulnerability. My take, of course. Don't know if you guys would agree with that or if that's another aspect you can think of here. Sorry, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say real quick, just now being able to come at it from both sides, having run it and played it, very much running this game is like being a player in this game. You almost start out pretty much on equal footing as far as the story goes. The players actually have the advantage in building the world, but it leaves the facilitator in the place where they are reacting to the players instead of the players reacting to what you're doing. and so
Yeah.
you are in a way your own player in this game. And
Now
I
we
think that's
have
what makes it interesting.
we
I
have
was going to say,
two
I think it's
copies of
about.
the PDF. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
No, I wanted to close this because we are having to move on. Quietus is waiting, and I want to give you time for your outros. But if you want to do a last statement, absolutely go for it, Trooper.
I was going to say that. So, I mean, for me, whether or not a game gets really emotional, how effective it is, especially like horror games, mystery games, those sorts of things, are whether or not the players commit emotionally. Like, will the players commit to the experience? Like, you can allow yourself to be frightened, or you can put yourself at a distance and keep yourself distant from that experience. And what I thought was really great for me was that everybody here committed emotionally and was like emotionally vulnerable in a way that sort of we all fed on each other in this really great way. And I thought that was really nice.
Agreed. We are going to give away these 2 copies of Stille Nacht now. So I am going to pick 2 winners from that loot. And we have Coruscant and Ice Bunny, so nice to see you. When you coming from that area in particular is beautiful. I know you from Trooper's chat and from. I'm very happy that this goes to you. We're going to contact you via Twitch, or you can contact us via Twitch as well, and then we'll make that happen. Congratulations. Yay, copies for you. We also have Quietus lined up, and they're already getting a little bit impatient. So what we're going to do is just a quick outro round where you can tell us where we can find you, what other projects you're doing, and then we'll play us out. So let's start with Hanny and move counterclockwise.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Annie Claps, Twitter and Twitch. And I am a Wild RP streamer. So if you guys like Wild West, I play video games. I play some old characters, some new characters. It's a lot of fun. If you guys want to come check it out, we'd happy to see you there.
Trooper.
I'm Trooper SJP. This was so lovely. You can find me at Trooper SJP on Twitch, where I do a bunch of video games and RPGs. Perhaps most relevant to this channel is that on Monday you can find me playing For the North, Game of Thrones, a Song of Ice and Fire game here on this channel at 3 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me in a bunch of other RPGs all around the channel. Hang out on mine on Friday at 7 p.m. and I'll tell you all about them. And you can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter.
Best tangents on Twitch, just saying.
You want
Spencer,
tangents,
what
I got
about you?
Yeah.
And songs.
Spencer DVA on Twitter, Discord. I don't really stream on Twitch, but on Wednesday nights when we are able, I am playing in a Legend of the Five Rings campaign over on Penny for a Tale, where our wonderful overlord Mitch is GMing me, Pope World build Colin Kelly, and Burn Black Rose through what seems to be a very promising Legend of the Five Rings campaign. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
So the first ep was good stuff. And Kat, what about you?
I'm Kat. I'm at Clerk of Court, and that's where you can find me on Twitter and hanging out in various Discord servers. And I play games on the internet with my friends. Where can you find me next? Tuesday for here on Encounter Roleplay at, let me make sure I get the time right, 2 p.m. Eastern for the premiere of Achtung Cthulhu. So more horror in my life. And then next weekend, if you want to catch some more Stille Nacht, I will be over on Valdrian's channel for Extra Life Weekend, and I will be running Stille Nacht on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on November 8th.
And I'm Half Hour's Hermit. I am also going to be on Valdrian's channel for the charity game for Extra Life, but I'm going to be playing Morphs in the Dark. Blades in the Dark, any Morphs skin. Slightly different sort of atmosphere from Stille Nacht. But I'm looking forward to that one. And every Monday at 8 p.m. you can find me right here with a 5e campaign, Song of the Deep, which has also gradually become more emotionally intense than you'd expect from your regular D&D campaign, but we love it. And you can find me, of course, in the Encounter Roleplay Discord, which you should all join because that's where the magic happens. We are going to play you out here with a trailer for one of our upcoming shows because we just started our season. So if you want to join in here, or of course on YouTube where we upload all of our videos as well, this one's going up too. Thank you, by the way, for everyone watching on YouTube. Do let us know what you thought of Stille Nacht below and check it out in the links below too. But if you just want to get your RPG game going, or maybe start watching some, join us. The season has just started, and one of the games we're doing is Accent Punk. Absolutely fabulous hip-hop cyberpunk style with a great cast that is working and driving so well together. So we're going to show you the trailer for that, and then afterwards you're going to get a little bit more horror, a little bit more emotional torture with Colin, Anna, Cadence, and Quietus. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for watching.
Eyes up, we're running on impulse. Are your guards up? They should be. Because all bets are off, and our ballots are counted. We have arrived at a precipice of disintegrating firewalls and all-out channel overload. We're taking over. Unlike your megacity plots, we run off one code. Tame the corporate beast mode. Bring the rumble to the jungle underground. That's our stronghold. When we start banging on our ceilings, we shake your tape.
Hey yo, I'ma make your whole town black out. Your home line tapped out. Rush City hard, got the city line mapped out. White hats and mic straps. Who kiss to fight back this ransom? Make you wanna cry when you type back a phantom. Fishing on the line if you bite back. Big guns and toxins. Plenty ways to stop them. Back chain the campaign with new boxes. Stealth when the R adds up. I'm the new Richard Bell Frank.